Hello, hello, and welcome back to the CDL Week 2, Day 2, and the matches are getting hotter than ever. But for the third series of the day, this is going to be our game field marquee matchup. The Atlanta FaZe, the team that dominated last year, they're facing off against a new look team, one of the CDL's newest teams, the Boston Breach, and I can't wait to see what goes down. I don't think that this one is going to go the way people think it's going to be on paper. And Nameless, I'm hoping that this goes down to the wire.
I'm hoping it goes down to the wire, but I fear that FaZe, the beast, has been awoken. And we haven't seen Boston play any of like the top teams so far in the league. At kickoff, they look pretty good, but in the league, you know, they're 2-0, haven't played the best of competition. They're going up against the world champions, a team that's been together for a long time. So it's a tall task for the Boston Breach. But when you look at the stats on paper, aLLeY, we noticed that they have the exact same record in all 3 game modes. So at least by stats right now, they are evenly matched, as weird as it is to say that. But let's get into the Atlanta keys to victory. So Simp and aBeZy are going to need to get going. They're at a 0.91 and 0.96 respectively. I do expect them to step up at some point. I don't think they're playing bad by any means. They're just another level that they can get to where they're just 3-0ing everybody. And that starts with the Tiny Terrors absolutely popping off. Get back to control dominance. They're 11th in round win percentage. Last year, this team was absurd at control. They were #1 in the league, and I expect them to get back to that at some point. Right now, it hasn't been great, and I think a lot of that is due to Gavutu. They've been playing that at times when you have to put an AR in either aBeZy or Simp's hands. It hasn't been too great lately. Play together in 4v3 situations. First in first blood win percentage, last at converting first bloods to wins. And that has to do a lot with aBeZy flying out, getting first blood, and them not playing together as a team. So
that's a crazy stat, man.
It's a crazy stat. And typically, like, this is the team that takes a lot of risk early in the year, going out there, playing aggressive and search and destroy, and it doesn't work out for them sometimes, and then it clicks. And those routes start to work, and they know what they can get away with. And that's what we're seeing out of Atlanta FaZe. Test the waters until you perfect it. And that's why they have a great coaching staff that's winning world championships.
I love this, and the simple fact that when talking about players like Simp, aBeZy, and them, like, they're veterans in the game now. You know, they're not just rookies that we've known. When I first got in the scene with you, right? They're killing it, but they're going against Boston Breach, and Boston Breach has been phenomenal. The thing about Boston Breach that really scares me is the simple fact that we don't know what their ceiling is at the moment.
I completely agree with you, and that has a lot to do with Big Cap, because he continuously, it seems, to get better every single series. But a big standout for me, I guess, has been TJ, because to me, he was a very inconsistent player coming into this year, and he has completely slammed me to the table when it comes to the fact of how consistent he has been with his slaying power, being in that sub role, and now going up against Atlanta FaZe. Both these teams are 3-0 in search and destroy, so I think that's where the real battle is going to come out. And when it comes to Boston Breach, should they be able to take that respawn early, I think that would be a huge momentum push into the series, knowing how good they are at S&D. Game fuel keys to victory. Continue executing S&D. It's what I just said. They're first in round win percentage. That is insane. You would expect FaZe to hold that record, but they've had a little bit of a slow start this year. Their retakes, though, have to be on point. Atlanta is planning the bomb 71% of the time, and you know that is going down within like the first 30 seconds of the round. That bomb is getting laid quick. So, and now Nero, he needs to be an X factor. Slaying may be the key to going the distance. He has a 0.92 KD. It isn't that bad. That's right around the likes of where Simp and aBeZy are right now, but the difference is it's Atlanta FaZe. That's Simp and aBeZy. We know they're going to heat up, so Nero's going to have to be able to match that aggression.
Yes, and take a look at the team right now. I'm excited to see where they're going to end up. We don't know what they're going to be like at their peak or anything like that, but so far they've been impressing in the most stylish way ever. And these players, I mean, they put on highlight clinics every single time they're on the screen. But let's talk about it. Nameless, now when it comes to predictions between both of these teams, especially with Big Cap in the lobby, baby.
Yeah.
Who do you think is really going to step up big time?
Well, they're going to need the game field featured player, which is Capsidal, to step up and pop off for the squad. It's going to be very tough for Boston Breach to come in here and take this win. This is a brand new team going up against the world champions, right? I think if you can push them the distance, that's an absolute W. You know, have some close maps. We've seen, you know, Atlanta FaZe, we're learning about them. You probably don't want to play them on Bocage. It seems to be one of the better maps for Boston Breach is Bocage Hardpoint. So stylistically, I actually think that this is the most nightmarish matchup possibly for Breach, right? So if there's some close maps, I think that's a W for the squad.
See, that's what I want to see, man. Big Cap smiling, the man is having fun, and he's ready to go against people that he's been looking up to for a few years now. But when it comes to predictions right now, Nameless, are you rocking with the obvious answer? I mean, what everybody's going to have down on paper, Atlanta FaZe are going to win.
Yeah.
Or do you think Boston have a legit shot at this?
I mean, I don't think that they're going to win this series. I think FaZe is going to win 3-0. Okay. I'm going with those guys.
3-0?
I've learned to not count them out. I'm not going against them. No, FaZe is going to win. They're gonna play well.
All right, aLLeY, you and I were talking about this earlier, right? All right, aLLeY and I, like, we're kind of nutty, and we were thinking, okay, Boston has been looking really good so far, and in this series right here, do you think Atlanta's going to take it, or do you think Boston might surprise us?
You know what, production team, I'm so sorry. Screw the graphic, I'm going rogue. I think Boston Breach will come out and win the series.
Let's go. I'm going to say it just outright. I like Atlanta FaZe. Atlanta FaZe is dominant. I feel like they can Thanos snap any team out the lobby, right? But when it comes to Boston, okay, Boston has something special about them, and I really think that no one really knows what to expect from them. I want to see Methodz pop off. I want to see everybody do their thing. This team, if they win this, I'm going to go nuts. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It's about time to get this game started. Bryce and 10, fellas with those beautiful accents, be able to bless us on this game. How do you feel about this matchup?
Well, thank you. I think it's an interesting one. The problem is it's Atlanta FaZe. That's the big issue. It's the big dogs in the CDL. They have been for years. We've been expecting to see these players. Boston Breach have looked good, but I don't know if they've looked good enough, Ton.
Look, they've looked good against, without being harsh, like kind of mid-level teams, man. I can't base too much off it. They had very close games with Guerrillas, of course, but this is FaZe. It's a different level. And look, I like the team. I think they'll grow, but I don't think they've grown quick enough to get to this stage yet of beating a team like Atlanta FaZe. So look, I would love to be proven wrong, and I'm kind of on the fence of this is either FaZe smoking them, or it's going to go all the way down to potential final map. It's one of those things that, again, today's all about barometers. We're kind of getting into the gist of where everybody's at. We'll get a true reflection of how good Boston Breach are in just a second. But until then, the jury is still very much out in my eyes.
I think the big issue people are having is that Atlanta FaZe had a bit of a wobble, right? Kickoff Classic, they went to map 5 with Paris. People are a little bit worried about it, but let's talk about how we think this series is going to go. Of course, Gravudu Hardpoint, Berlin Search and Destroy, Gravudu Control, Bacage Hardpoint, and then Bacage Search and Destroyed around this one out. The analyst desk talked about it a little bit. They said this does feel like a good matchup for Atlanta, and I kind of agree, Ton.
Yeah, 100%, especially if it does somewhat get towards that fourth map. I'm going to have to see 2 maps from Boston in those first 3, to be honest with you, because map number 4, I wouldn't like to be any team going up against FaZe and that Bacage map specifically, to be honest with you. I honestly, I wouldn't like to play against them in any map in particular, and when League Play does come out next week, I am actually quite fortunate to be on the other side of the continent to those boys, because they are nasty. But Gravudu, there's potential. Look, I would love to be proved wrong from Boston Breach right now. I just don't see it happening here, Brycey. I think FaZe have woken up.
All right, well, let's see if Atlanta FaZe are every bit as good as everybody says they are, or Boston Breach looking for an upset. Of course, only time will tell us as we get into this best of 5, as we jump straight into this hardpoint and straight on board by the look of it with Cellium.
Here we go, straight into the mixer, of course, up top gun, and Cellium has just been different gravy this year so far for this Atlanta FaZe team. We haven't really seen it from aBeZy and Simp as things do get kicked off, and well, we're going to see it from them on the SMG front. But when it comes to ARs, that's where Boston Breach have been particularly strong on at times, and of course you do have Capsidal in there as well, who has been kind of just making his name, if you like. But FaZe at the moment, good start from them. They will get a hold of the majority of the first few points, but a force spree for Methodz to kick things off. Streaks would never be a bad thing.
So when you can see him looking out, Cellium by that window, he's called it. Methodz knows. Waiting for this, eventually just looks away. No more kills here for Methodz, but they do know he's up here, and he is just continuing to pick up these kills. Obviously, all the points still going the way of Atlanta FaZe.
Looking good for them. Shots in from Camp, not going to happen, and he is the Game Fuel featured player here in our Game Fuel Marquee matchup. The guy to watch, and well, it's not been a good watch so far. 0-4 from Cap. He's going to have to get things rolling, but FaZe looking good.
Well, let's have a look. Can he make a bit of a comeback here? Obviously, time's starting to tick up, but the nades come in, and so do Atlanta FaZe. Looking for this one. TJHaly has managed to shut it down, though. Still only 6 points on the board here for Boston Breach, and they'll be looking to try and get a bit more points if they want to win this.
Probably best to start. FaZe really have come out the gates very hot. Looking at this rotation over, though, towards the next hill. Gotta keep an eye on it. Simp is the one starting to position himself well and just get control of that beach side. Shots in towards Arcitys, not going to work out for him this time around, and we'll just have to back on down. Can Simp do from this position? Shots in, not coming in through.
looking.
And for I mean, look, it's a good rotation here from Breach. Actually, they're not in too bad of a spot, so let's see what they can do with it.
Moment, another big hold from FaZe, and that'll be the issue. Boston Breach just really unable to get a toehold in this game so far. Nero trying to do some work here, sprays over the top, but aBeZy says thank you very much. Capsidal coming in one after another. Capsidal trying to get that kill as well, not doing so well. Atlanta FaZe opening up here against the Boston Breach, and all the stories, all the fairy tales that have been whispered about could Boston Breach be a real force this season, and are Atlanta FaZe not as good as we've previously seen them? At the moment, they're very, very quiet.
Simp has 7 in a row, looking for number 8 here as well. Not often you see him with the AR in his hands, but he's getting the business done. Will eventually fall, but the streaks and damage is already done. 89 to 22 already. Boston Breach will pick up a decent amount of scrap time there, but heading over towards this next hill, it is all FaZe and Methodz. It's a little bit of help from his teammates here. aBeZy, Cellium combining well. 10 and 5 out of aBeZy. A fantastic start, considering how relatively AR heavy it is on this map, but you can see they're coming out from pretty much everybody. 12 and 5 out of aBeZy, auto in hand, and look at all the kills still coming their way. We also have Boston are maybe a little bit 1-by-1 here, but the kills are going to start coming through 1-by-1 for the Boston Breach. They find a few. Simp on his own though. Can he find anything else? Can he look for the second? He can. Can't get away, but look at the spawn still coming in here from FaZe. Nero's trying his best to disrupt that.
Oh, here they come. Boston Breach going to try and get some scrap time here, fortunately, but aBeZy is going to be in the hill. It does get taken down eventually, and Boston will get some much-needed scrap time. Can they come back into this game? At the moment, the biggest issue they are having is that they realistically just can't get enough kills on the board to make a difference. But let's find out how Atlanta FaZe are feeling. We're listening.
Tap that.
One shot on the north.
On cliff.
How much
about? I have your cross. Yeah, oh my god, I missed. Think with the red. Alright, I've crossed. Top boat on me, top boat on me. I'm trying
to look around.
I have mid. They can go right. I'm re-pitching right, Heike.
There's nothing right.
Propane, yes, nothing right. Top boat near.
I won.
I'm push top boat.
We got there's 2 top boat. Nero's weak.
I'm hitting. Pushing me, Nero.
You're better.
There's any one shot top boat. There's 2 one front time. Cages one shot. Never need it. Push out. I push out. One shot. Top 3, I think.
Dead.
Yo, they can't be hitting me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna push
hold.
Then?
There's another one above you, I think.
I'm trying to kill this guy. We're late. I have a streak to this.
We're late,
yeah. I'm trying to cut rotation.
I'm setting a rock, MC. I missed it.
I'm trying to cut rotation.
I'm needing
I think he's tower. I think the guy's tower.
I need he's already.
Tower's any?
No, close. Nero close on short. Nero close on short. Nero's our short, Tyler.
Yo, he's there, I'm one shot.
I'm needing on her. Nero's our short.
TJ on time. Okay, wait, I can shoot. Oh, I flipped. Yeah, I got it. You're by yourself.
You're open.
I'm needing over you, bro.
I'm trying to need it.
Well, there we go. Comms from Atlanta FaZe sound solid and composed, and why wouldn't they be? Currently up by over 100 points in this one, continuing their reign of terror.
I mean, it's just such an impossible task for the Boston Breach. They're not quite being blown off the map completely, but it's not looking fantastic. FaZe very much their dominant selves, and I think, you know, if you look at these rosters prior to kickoff, etc., and prior to, I don't want to say FaZe's struggles, but they maybe haven't impressed as much as everyone would have expected. They still look solid, but this is kind of what everybody would have expected before the season kicked off. This is the Atlanta FaZe that everybody knows and, well, mostly loves. they do have their haters, it has to be said, but, well, that's for good reason, because they are lights out 99% of the time. These guys just do not miss, and guys like aBeZy, I mean, shots like that, it's absolutely disgusting. He's still rolling towards the back, and eventually does get shut down. Breach with the close spawns, but my goodness me, aBeZy.
And that's exactly what everybody fears when they play this team, Ton, and you said it correctly. A little bit of a slow start maybe from Atlanta FaZe in terms of the CDL, but still something to be feared here. Can Boston Breach find a way back in this? And Capsidal, who we spoke about earlier, had a terrible start to this game, maybe finally heating up. Could this be the catalyst that Boston need to start taking the fight to FaZe? At the moment, nothing too much coming out of it. Still going to have about 100 points as we go into our next hard point. But, you know, one good solid hold here, and we could have a game on our hands.
Yeah, I was just about to say, kind of took the words out of my mouth. It takes one really good hold to get back into a game of hard point. And could it be this on the beach? I mean, well, honestly, it could have been, but with Simp dropping this in, it's going to make things very difficult. Arcitys finding 1 kill on the Methodz. The spawns towards the back. Keep an eye on those spawns actually coming in for the Boston Breach towards the rear side, but it's already done. Atlanta FaZe are in. And we talked about it before the game. aBeZy, Simp haven't necessarily had the best start to their season here on Vanguard. But so far, so good here. It does come down to Kuavo, and look at the shots once again. aBeZy can do it with either weapon. Methodz gets the child coming on through. He finds the kill. Simp will wrap it up though. The guys on this squad still doing the work for each other. Cellium on the force spree as well. It's just all danger signs for the side of Boston Breach.
Yeah, the slang from the Little Lunatics is really putting the Boston Breach to the sword, and we could be on the cusp here of 100 points. But I say that, and instantly they managed to get some points in the hill. It's not going to be. Cellium jumps back in with a 6 streak. And realistically, Boston are now just playing for basically any points they can get, hopefully.
And they force them out back towards the boat side, and it's going to have to be a hell of a break. 3 seconds to go. I honestly just don't think the Breach have the time to get there. FaZe dominating in map number 1, 250 to around 100 out of Boston Breach, and shell-shocked is the description on the faces of the Boston Breach, but FaZe dominant there in game number 1, and the kind of performance we've come to expect.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that was, if anything, it kind of answered a lot of questions, right? There has been this narrative floating about in the Twitter sphere, on social media, on Reddit, about are Atlanta FaZe as good at this game as they have been in previous? Well, if you look at this opener here, Boston Breach started very, very slowly. Capsidal had a very bad start, comes back to 17 and 17. It could be a case of Boston Breach maybe just being a bit slow, but Atlanta FaZe did not start slow. aBeZy went 24 and 11 on that map and basically just set fire to everything that was coming at him.
And 20 of those kills just not tried it back either. It's just raw slaying power on the side of Atlanta FaZe, but they do absolutely everything right when it came down to rotations, those small little kills that you kind of just see on the mini-map, on those little transitional moments. They find them nearly every single time, but when you shoot as straight as these boys, it's quite easy to find. I mean, look, it's just a very AR dominant map. Of course, we see it coming out from Simp, aBeZy. They can all bring it out if they need to. And unfortunately, Boston Breach they just couldn't hang. They just couldn't keep up with them. But honestly, where I say positives are going to come from, I would imagine it's going to come in the S&D. That's what we said when we came into this. S&D is very much something that they have to get going. When they can get that going, they may have something in this series. And we know that control is potentially something that can obviously go the way, of course, of the Boston Breach as well. The hardpoint was always going to be difficult. And well, that just really did show in that first map.
Yeah, it really did. I got to say right now, I imagine Nameless has a very smug look on his face. The only one of the analyst has to really just
Doesn't he always?
It's a hot 3-0 for Atlanta FaZe, and the smirk he's going to have is probably so big it probably aches at this point. But yeah, ridiculous start there from Atlanta FaZe, and you're right. You got to see something from Boston Breach here on this S&D, because if we don't see some sort of big performance from them, some proof that they can hang with the monsters that are Atlanta FaZe, then it could be a very quick series.
I'm just curious of the conversation that kind of goes on after a map like that. It's a tough one to say. Look, I mean, they didn't get completely blown away, but it was very, very dominant, very comfortable. The Atlanta FaZe. If you're Boston in that scenario, do you put it to the back end? Do you discuss it there and then? And something that coaches like Zed and Dens will know very well. I've watched them get smoked a few times, Pricey. It's happened before. They will know in that situation what to do. And for me, it's you put that one to the back of your mind. You concentrate what's coming up next, which is search and destroy. Not so much your bread and butter, but it is very much your stronger game type. When you go in against a team like FaZe, this is where you look for your map wins. Yeah, your FaZe, you're feeling super confident after that map number 1.
This is the issue though. This is the problem. Cellium. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? TJHaly, incredible KD. A 1.59 here, kills per 9 rounds, fantastic. The problem is, Cellium is lights out. This is a ridiculous stat line. 2.31, 320 damage per life ton. Like, you could be confident if you're a Boston Breach fan, but there is a monster waiting across the aisle, ready to pounce.
Yeah, look, he's put up some very, very good numbers so far for the Atlanta FaZe, and it's going to be a problem. However, when it does come down to it, though, it's just Search, and the rest of the team haven't necessarily been putting up those numbers. 2.3 is great. Don't get me wrong. That's unbelievable. The rest of the team, though, haven't necessarily been there in some of FaZe's games so far. So let's see if they can maybe step that up a little bit. If they can do, with that support from Cellium putting up those kind of numbers, it becomes a big problem. But the Boston Breach, this is where we expect them to cause problems to FaZe. They need to if they want to force something in this game.
Yeah, they will, of course, going into this S&D as well. I was kind of looking up the stats before the game turn, and both teams have had wins here on this next S&D map, and that kind of gave it a little bit of a toss-up. The difference between the may just be skill level, and whereas we talk about benchmarking early season about how are these teams actually stacking up against other teams, this is a true test. Obviously, Boston Breach, a lot of people were saying this could be a potential team that could grow into something ferocious. Atlanta FaZe are that ferocious. They are the team to beat, the benchmark of which all other teams have to at least try and measure themselves.
Let's see if it can be measured in some sort of way here for the Breach as we do head over towards Berlin. Having a look at the S&D though, offensive wise, Boston first. That's something they're gonna have to try and count on. That's something about being aggressive up against a team like Atlanta. Can they break them? Can they get that bomb down? Can they hold it down? First bloods though for FaZe have been there time and time again. They rank first amongst the league. It's going to be an interesting one. Offense winning 56% of the time, so it's relatively close. It's all about getting that bomb down over towards B and locking the site down themselves. Can FaZe do it first time of asking? They're not going to need to, as it's an A hit straight away.
It certainly is the game fuel marquee matchup. Are we going to see a quick 3-0, or is he going to go the distance? Well, we will find out potentially right here on board with Methodz. He tries to hold down any pressure from A. Capsidal's already got round, and he's shutting down the pressure here from FaZe. It's an awful lot of pressure coming in, though. aBeZy will finally get that kill, but it is not clean.
I mean, Capsidal is locked in. He nearly just turned on his teammate in mid-map there. He spun and just shot. I believe it was actually a Methodz who has ultimately fallen. Nonetheless, though, it's all of a sudden a 3v2. TJ in a good spot. aBeZy, not so much. Gets shut down 2v2.
Slowed down a little bit here as the team's trying to figure out where everybody is. TJ and Simp, I think he's been seen. Oh, that's a big kill there from TJ. And it's down to Cellium. They're starring S&D to do something, but he is going to get shot and taken down. It will be Boston Breach, though, taking that first round.
That's very, very patient from the Breach, to be honest with you. I really like the shots that were held by TJ. So he knew he had it secured. And once again, Cap, very, very sure in his shots. And they go on through, and that's a round win where FaZe found that first blood once more. But it really doesn't account to very much that time around. Very well played from the Boston Breach. And as I said, very, very patient. I mean, Cap is cracked running through the middle of the map there. He was behind them immediately. I just seen, I think it was on the minimap actually. You see him turn and shoot, and I'm like, oh, is there somebody there? No, there isn't. It's his teammate. He's absolutely insane. Anyway, nonetheless, here we go. Attacking round coming out for Boston Breach. It's going to be a B hit. They just have numbers here. Can they stop the cross? No, they cannot. That bomb should go down. But yet Cellium is around.
Oh, here comes the pressure though. Players all trying to get in a good position for it. And TJ again taking down Simp. You can see they're looking for this one. Is aBeZy going to make a move? Everything's stalled around this bomb site now as both teams look for positioning. There's one side will separate them, but no, Cap with the calm. And he just waits for it. He waits for the reach out. Actually smashes that door out. Cellium's going to come challenge as well. Cap says thank you very much. Appreciate it. But the one is now going down, and it's Arcitys in a 1 versus 3.
Get him off the bomb quick enough before it goes down. He has a chance, not quite able to do it. He's going to be able to get rid of Capsidal, but the problem is Methodz in that power position, always going to find those shots. Boston Breach find a second round. I really like that, to be honest with you. They get inside the bomb site. It feels like Cap has absolutely no support. And FaZe just want to peek it. They just want to check what's going on. Do they necessarily need to? Yes, they do at some point, but Cap is very much ready and waiting for those challenges. Finds 2 kills, and all of a sudden the round is very, very easy. 2-0 to the Boston Breach, looking good.
Wow, we said they need to go big in the S&D. They are doing it so far. You got to say, Capsidal, we said he had a slow start there on that hard point. Did come back into the game eventually. And it started off strong here in the search and destroy, though. Going to be a big push coming in from A. Atlanta FaZe are already there. They've stacked this one. Capsidal was a catalyst last time for making sure they couldn't just push in regardless. He may be looking for the flank, even though Cellium was watching it this time around. And Simp.
There you go. Gets caught out. This time they are very much ready for that flank that comes in from Cap. Have to keep an eye on number 4, Nero all the way around the back. The rest of the team kind of need to wait for something to happen from his side of things, though. He's going the real long way around. Not going to have time, though. aBeZy pushes forward, finds one, finds two as well. There's Methodz shut down in this round all of a sudden. Looking like it's going to be FaZe's first. Nero, that flank was deep, and, well, that's the end of the round. Atlanta FaZe will find it. And I do like the flank that comes in, but I almost feel like the push that then comes from Breach on the other side of things just needs to be waiting on Nero getting himself into a better position to do something with that. But because the flank's so long, because you got to go all the way around behind docks to make sure you're not going to get shot, it sometimes makes things a little bit too slow. But there you go. Good round from FaZe.
It is. They need that one to get back into it, of course. Still an awful long way to go on this search and destroy turn, and it could really be anyone's game. But we are going to watch Boston Breach, though, on the attack again, and looks like they're heading straight to B. That has worked out for them in the past. Going straight forward. Does he see anyone here on the cross? No, he doesn't. aBeZy, though, with that first blood. And it may make Boston Breach slow down a little bit, and TJ is going down as well. And Cat did so much work here from the B site last time, but I don't know if he can do it again.
Yeah, this would be quite monumental. I think aBeZy's asking for a little bit of support. They know there's at least one player inside of B. They have nothing on Methodz, though, at all. And that is, again, a very, very big flank going to be coming in from Methodz. But look at the read from FaZe. They're querying it. If he's not towards the back, then where the hell is he?
Yeah, everything's gone a little bit slow, a little bit quiet. Cat doesn't want to make a move as he knows at some point they're coming for him. He's actually going to get this down. Can he get away with it, though? aBeZy is here. He's going to see Cat. Oh! He got him, but it will be traded. And now Methodz in a 1 versus 3. I don't think they know where he is.
The problem is he's on the wrong side of the bomb. There's not really much he can do from here, surely.
He's looking
Shots
for it.
No! Not far off. Arcitys does take a couple of bullets there, but nonetheless, Cellium is there for the trade. And that round would have been won either way by FaZe, but that was a little bit scary for FaZe on occasion, where Capsidal finds that first kill inside of B, but nonetheless, after that, easy peasy. They get it done.
They do. Methodz could have potentially got away with it there if he got that kill and got out, but with 3 players up of Atlanta FaZe, they had the bodies to keep an eye out, and they obviously knew that position was coming. But now all tied up, of course. At the moment, 4 rounds in, Nero yet to get a kill.
It's a big aggressive B hit over from the side of Boston Breach. They're going to be flanking very, very quickly. TJ finds one on the flank, and Methodz just locks it down himself. Big kills coming in there from the veterans on this squad. Arcitys and Cellium down, and all of a sudden FaZe in a really difficult spot. Simp will fall also. Capsidal constantly on the flank. And aBeZy with some task on his hands here.
Yeah, I think
Cap's
going to play with him. I mean, he gives them the kill, but it's still 3 more. Oh, they're running. Just running.
Yeah. Just get away from him. There's no point in challenging this. Fair play to Methodz. He backs on up and makes aBeZy's job that little bit harder. The grip will just tighten on the side. Well. Yeah, he has done. Difficult spot. He'll get the bomb down, or not quite anyway.
Yeah, they were just
taken down.
Slowly but surely. It's been going well there for Boston, I would say. They completely read that push, and that's going to be the key part of the round, right? If we're going to talk about it, they read the push there from Atlanta FaZe. They had a plan to stop it, and after that, obviously, Atlanta FaZe were bodies down and just didn't really have anywhere to go.
It's just the aggressive push over towards B. As soon as you send 3 men out of street and there's no gunfights happening, well, by the powers of deduction, you know exactly where they're going. So crossover towards A, you can kind of watch the cross from, well, all over the world towards the B side. They catch one. Methodz finds a grenade because they know the push is coming on through. It's just information being power once again. 4v4 though, even after 20 seconds has gone on Berlin, is somewhat of a myth, but nonetheless, here we are.
Well, we can see this time they haven't sent Capsidal across there with a bomb. They're playing this a little bit different, Boston, and at the moment it's just kind of posturing. It's information gathering. They're trying to figure each other out and see where the gaps in the line are. Can somebody get an important first blood? Can we move to a bomb site? But just to watch there, TJC Simp gets a few bullets in, but it's not going to be good enough to Simp actually goes for the challenge. And now he's just flown out to mid-statue. Somehow Simp is still alive here.
How?
With TJ looking at him.
How is Simp managed to survive that? Methodz will find a kill into aBeZy, and it looks like A is the target, but somehow Simp gets away. Is going to help though. Arcitys in the corner, finds one at the Capsidal. Nero will trade that one out. This bomb will be going down. Simp not only survived that push, but finds a kill in the mid. Methodz will trade it. All of a sudden, Cellium in a 1v2 finds the kill on the Methodz 1v1.
Oh, never mind, it's done. It's not going to be a tense 1v1. It's going to be a very quick 1v1, and Boston Breach get another round on the board. I've got to say, their patience there did eventually pay off. You are right, though. How on earth Simp got away? TJ spotted him, and Simp went, all right, I'm out. But not out towards cover, out towards the middle of the map.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. I'm not too sure how he survived Nelly as long as he did, but kind of gets called out, has to get out of there, sees the grenade being cooked, and he, well, gets the hell out of Dodge. But unfortunately, FaZe can't find the round for them. Boston looking good here, though. Nero has woken up. That's 3 kills in the previous round from him to get things going. Looks like a B push going to be coming in here from FaZe, and Nero will find another. That's over towards the A side. Simp gets caught out, but it was just a bait as B. Bomb is now going down. FaZe, can they get out of this one? Big kill potentially going to come in here from TJ. The challenge comes in for an aBeZy. Will get challenged, but all of a sudden, FaZe have the bomb down. They have Doc's control as well.
Back it up. They're playing together as a unit here. Obviously, Boston going to have to try and make the move. He has the control he wants to here. Arcitys gets one, but he will be traded away here. It's now 1 versus 2 for Cellium. Can he have the position? He finds Nero. Unfortunately, that's being diffused. It's being diffused. Capsidal just said, hey, I'm just going to defuse it. Do what you like back there. It's all good. 5-2 to Boston Breach.
Nicely done by the Breach. They know exactly where the setup's going to come from. They know exactly where they are. Forces the issue with Nero pushing forward and find this kill on Arcitys. Very different if Arcitys does find that first engagement, but nonetheless, very, very nice retake from the Boston Breach. And this is what we said before this series. This is where they could potentially make a game of it. The search and destroy, very, very strong from these guys so far.
Yeah, they're going to be feeling good after that map number 1. Now, can they just put an end to this map and move on? They are going to attack. It looks like a big push towards A here. You are going to have aBeZy in here, though. He's backed up by Arcitys. Oh, almost goes through the door. Not quite. Door now been opened. Nero and aBeZy going for it as well. Nero gets the better of him, though, and that has opened this up. Arcitys trying to hold firm. Stack from Atlanta FaZe.
I'm looking for something. Right now, it's becoming a little bit difficult, but there you go. The patience once again is there from Capsidal, as are the shots. Looking to finally make this one tied up with Arcitys. The last one finds one. Can he find anything else? He's going to have a lot of pressure coming in. Boston tie things up here, one apiece. We said the search and destroy as their strength, and very much showing that there in game number 2.
Yeah, they are not laying down and taking any more punishment from Atlanta FaZe. At map 1, he kind of forgot it and went straight into it and said, hey, we're good at this, watch it. And when it got to 2-2, I was a little bit worried for them, but and then just accelerated. Got to say, Capsidal made some incredible plays on that one, as well as the 1v1s from Nero. He won the 50-50 gunfights, and that pushed him into great positions. It seemed like Atlanta FaZe just didn't have that many options when they kind of went to play S&D, whereas Boston Breach, they look pretty slick and well structured.
Well, the first bloods is definitely not correct in that sense, but it's very much on the side of Boston Breach. You can say that at least. Finding a lot of those opening kills and then just playing very, very patiently. I think round number 1 was kind of the I don't want to say the catalyst, but it was a perfect example of how patient they are with their search and destroy. They find a couple of kills and then they just sit back a little bit. They were patient on the attack even. Love to see that from them. Very, very solid out of the Breach, and it's a scary thought for FaZe now. You go into a control and Kavutsu, and that is maybe a little bit scary for a team like FaZe. They haven't looked sensational when it comes down to control. The hardpoint, yes, absolutely. I think you would put your mortgage on the fact that FaZe will probably walk out with that one. But if Boston can win this control and force a potential map number 5 of Bakash Search and Destroy, it's anyone's game for me. Anyone's game.
It certainly is. Well, it's interesting. We'll have to find out how the rest of this series plays out. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back off this break with more CDL action from Atlanta and Boston.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official broadcast communication partner of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CDL. Today, of course, we are jumping into a beautiful Game Fuel Marquee matchup. It's Atlanta FaZe versus Boston Breach, and it's currently 1-1. We're heading into map number 3, Gravutu Control. If you are just joining us, or you're kind of wondering what is going on, both maps have been pretty one-sided. Atlanta FaZe in the hardpoint took control completely, and then Boston Breach hit them straight back in the search and destroy. What happens on map 3, Ton? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's not difficult in the sense of knowing how it usually breaks down when it does come down to control. It's usually about those defensive holds, especially on this map. You're looking for players to try and get a hold of B as quick as they possibly can. Of course, A being the easiest side. But as far as control goes, though, pretty even across the board when it does come down to statistics for both of these two teams. I just think it's a potential route here for Boston, but look, it's not like they're going up against maybe one of the lower end teams here. This is FaZe. It is a very difficult matchup, whichever way you put it. But as far as the respawn game types go, absolutely the one that potentially could go the way of the Boston Breach.
You can see at the moment, they do have control onto A here, and FaZe they'll be feeling good as well. A little bit of flank coming in from Arcitys, but that has been called out. Cap did see him. However, Atlanta FaZe winning in the kill feed.
Yeah, a few kills come on through as they do look to gain some sort of control, and they have plenty of that. Cap inside the point still. Not active, just staying around whilst the rest of his team come back up off the respawn. I love that from him, but Cellium, well, okay. Finds the bullets through the walls. Great shots out of Cell. Arcity's not getting the best time in there, but a B push coming in from Boston Breach. Maybe just a distraction tactic, but they do have bodies over there.
At the moment, it's a bit of just a dogfight from both teams. Trying to get the advantage over the other as TJ finally takes down aBeZy in a long gunfight. You can see Arcitys now trying to lock down A with his team, but it is very, very scrappy across this entire map, Ton. I don't really see either team manage to get a big advantage yet.
Yeah, either team haven't really had any sort of thing that actually gives an example of some sort of control. Finally, I was about to say finally, Atlanta FaZe clean them out, but Capsidal still alive towards the back of the spawn here, still causing problems. But in the other spawn, here's aBeZy. Finds 2, finds 3. Don't give him number 4. Not quite there. Nero was about to find another kill over towards him, but nonetheless will find that trade on his teammate. aBeZy causing problems, and well, all those problems have resulted in Boston Breach getting very, very little in that round. Atlanta FaZe hold on tight.
Yeah, it's kind of a good start from Boston Breach, and then not an awful lot. I think Cap was probably wondering where on earth his teammates got to, and unfortunately they were just falling to the guns of Atlanta FaZe.
It's a difficult one when you're Cap in that position. You're in a good spot. You're in their spawn. They don't know you're there. Great. But you need to do something with that. It always kind of rings true to me in that sense. When you are kind of playing on that island, you need to do something with your teammates to help. If your teammates can't get out of spawn, what's the point in you being up there? Like, there's no point at all. If I was Cap in that situation, I'd like to see him maybe bring it back in a little bit, help his team get out, and then move forward as a team. I kind of, well, I mean, it's not the best start of the round in round number 2 for him either. I get the play call, but at the same time, nothing was happening. They couldn't get out.
Again, at the moment, aBeZy coming on a little bit of fire. They're going to know he's up there. Methodz gives him a peek. He gets first blood. Has to get out of it as well. Methodz keeps that gunny nice and clean. Eventually takes him down. Cap still looking for Simp, though. Doesn't find him in the end here, but has managed to get a flank. Finds the first. Doesn't know that he's going to be somewhere else here as well. It's Arcitys. He takes him down. Looks for Cellium. He is out of control. Just challenging everything so far, and Methodz will clean it up for him. And they are holding off Atlanta at the moment.
Yeah, just about. They're going 50-50 with these trades. TJ inside of A. Really nice shots out of TJ. Cellium gets peeled from the other side of the map. Can he find another one here as well? Simp just about beats him to it. Cap just controlling over towards gun, making sure no sneaky little B pushes are coming on through. Doesn't quite get the timing he wants onto aBeZy, but nonetheless finds the kill. Good hold from Breach so far.
Here's something. Cap, when he's warm, very, very warm. Unfortunately, on the other side of the map here at the moment, you can see he's going to be looking towards their spawn here, as it will be Atlanta FaZe to start taking control of A. They have the bodies for it. Cap is going to go down the flank as well. And now Boston Breach have to find a way in as Arcitys pushes it out. And Boston Breach are falling in numbers. This should now be an A cap for them. I think Boston are going to give it up and head towards B.
Yeah, they've given it up, but I don't like to see them giving up the spawns towards the back. TJ's going to spawn then. He will lock that one down. FaZe did have a moment to maybe find that little gap, but TJ's the important one here. Needs to stay alive as long as he can just to try and sort of cut the head off the snake of Atlanta FaZe, who are trying to push their way forward. It's going to be 3 players converging on him in just a second here. Bryce, big moment for TJ.
Held it. Looking for it. Not going to be able to. Bouncing aBeZy comes through, and Cellium is going to drop to Nero. They just don't have the bodies here. It's going to be a bit of a stack. Capsidal is a player to keep an eye on to try and get a few reinforcements for him. But
Nice.
TJ just gunning at the back as well. Capsidal does see Arcitys, but it won't be enough. It's a slowdown from FaZe. They know they have to make the right trades. Already the first one comes through. Arcitys going to go down though. Exploding barrel will remove him. With 43 seconds left, Atlanta FaZe are looking to play this slow and steady.
Who'd have thought Simp has the goodie with the ARs, eh? I mean, everyone probably.
Yeah, incredibly talented player.
Yes. Look at the flank coming in here from Methodz, though. That's going to be the problem. Defense very much king at this moment in time. It takes one flurry, though. When it comes down to control, I love this positioning from Methodz, though. There's another. 2 in a row from him. And it's just such a difficult task to get past an AR when he's playing this passively in the middle, just waiting for the gunfights to fall to him, just playing it absolutely perfectly. Røkkr gonna get around to the board here.
Yeah, Atlanta FaZe just wary of giving away any more kills. They were slow. They were hoping for some big gunfights, weren't able to get it in the end. And yeah, Boston pretty much cruised to the win there.
And I think, you know, it's a very similar kind of defense, isn't it? I mean, at the same time, look, FaZe were flawless. Don't get me wrong, but very, very strong out of the Boston breach. It takes one break, though. They lose it. However, Beat never really looked under too much threat. TJ doing a fantastic job towards the back spawn, and Methodz and Nero in particular finding the shots where they needed to. Nero needed to. He was 2 and 10 at one point, finding the 3 streak off the back of that defense, though. Can that get him up and running?
Well, a little bit of aBeZy around the boat. Looking for any of these players here. Now going up top. We know some Boston players are up here. Capsidal was ready for him. Easy race for him in the end here, but Arcitys will manage to get a trade. And it is now a little bit of a dance around this A site. You can see both teams posturing for position. It will be Simp looking for those reinforcements. He's going to challenge Nero. Nero rechows for some reason. Oh, Simp. He must have been weak. Must have been weak.
Had to be, please.
And unfortunately, that's Boston breach removed.
Yeah, he's forced the spawns up, so they'll know Simp is behind. Now aBeZy is the one who's going to be ready and waiting. Finds one, the headshots. Just clinical. Cap's the only one who can answer back, but I think when FaZe have won these defensive rounds, though, they made it look so clean, and well, they're 35 seconds away from doing so once again.
Oh, my
line
goodness.
them up.
Simp's on fire. And now they've got to dig him out.
Anything wrong. Cannot do anything wrong. And it's so annoying when there's somebody in your base like this just finding the shots.
There's
not really much you can do because you don't have time to clear them out, Bryce.
Well, it's not even that you don't have time. It's Simp. It's very, very difficult at the best of times. And now they're looking for him again. TJ tries to get some bullets down. Eventually will be challenged here by Methodz, who does find Simp in the end. With only 9.6 seconds left, though, they are trying to get some time on to beat. It will be Arcitys who's over there looking to clear it as well. Arcitys finds the first one, but he's got to look for Nero as well.
I actually don't mind the fact that he hasn't tried to challenge that. He knows the rest of the team are there. Has allowed Boston Breach to get inside of A. Maybe a small amount of respite and give them the gap. Shot's going to go in, though. TJ will find this, and this may well be A over towards the Boston Breach. FaZe are going to have another little stab at it. TJ does find 2 in the middle, finds 3 in the middle. Arcitys and aBeZy are the only ones who can answer back. Still A control coming in for the Boston Breach. TJ and Nero combining so well. Looks like A is going to go over towards the breach. Are they going to have another minute to have a go at this? Yes, they are.
That's a great play there from Boston. They remain calm. Nero just managing to pause that clock, allowed his teammates to get in towards A. But this is now the difficult fight. This is what a lot of teams fail at. Simp is going to go down, but there are still bodies here for Atlanta FaZe. They have not managed to get any sort of grip yet, Boston.
Can make something happen here. aBeZy falls. Problem is with this one, you really need to rotate through the back of the spawn. FaZe can just, well, post themselves up. It's a very, very difficult push. Takes one flurry of kills. Cellium already finding TJ. Can Boston find these kills in the middle of the map? Only 20 seconds to go. Cap's getting cracked in the spawns. The rest of the team, though, falling down. And Cellium finding the kills when it matters. 15 seconds.
TJ for the play is going to go down. Cellium says no thank you at all. And with 7 seconds left, it may just be Boston looking to not give away any more kills here on the defense. aBeZy sees him regardless. Nero, sit down. You go into the next round.
Very well played from FaZe in the end. They will be a little bit disappointed to allow A to slip the net, but to be honest, that was just a very nice play from the Boston Breach. They prolonged the round as best as they possibly could. Nonetheless, though, FaZe never really felt like losing that round, did they? Simp just causing all sorts of problems in the spawn. aBeZy doing well as well. The small-scale sensations themselves.
Well,
I've got more, by the way. I've got many, many
yeah,
more.
I know you do. I know you do as well. All right, let's see how this breaks into it. Of course, Atlanta FaZe going straight towards A now as well. Nero just trying to see if we can get anybody on the cut here. Cap, who's been lights out so far for Boston, looking for aBeZy. aBeZy takes a few bullets. Simp gets 2 as well, though, and he will go down. Atlanta FaZe with the early push here. An early grab straight onto A. Methodz trying to hold this fort down. Unfortunately, it's just not quite enough.
Oh, Simp's in a really good position here to just completely lock this down for Atlanta. TJ and Nero have done very, very well, though, with Simp concentrating on the spawns potentially here. Nero's going to clear it out, but Simp all the way around behind. They won't be expecting this. Is he going to just transfer it over towards B, or just once again be the thorn in the side? The thorn is removed by Capsidal, and it looks like Boston will just about get control of the map once more. There's a lot of pressure. 3 more kills coming on through. Have another go at getting a hold of A.
Now going to be able to get onto it. Boston, though, look like they're trying to rebuff that pressure just a little bit, though. Keep an eye. aBeZy is looking towards B. Capsidal is over there as well. Of course, actually, no, he's going for the flank. aBeZy is looking to flank here as well. He can see TJ through the wall, and he has managed to take one down, and that will be Atlanta FaZe completely clearing off Boston. Boston will have to regroup. They have to go B and try to lock this one down as much as possible, but aBeZy is in a very good position to prevent it.
Oh yeah, I don't think it would have expected TJ towards the back. I've seen aBeZy find those kills, but the rest of FaZe just concentrating on locking it in. Now, what's the route? Do you push towards the back where Boston have held very, very well, or you maybe just wrap back around through go and make it work through the normal routes? TJ lingering around, finding the shots where he needs to. Good shots though by aBeZy, has not much support, but again, it's just about that patience from Atlanta FaZe. Will they expect TJ still to be there? No, they will not. Another kill comes through. It's very difficult to push the backside of that spawn. FaZe gonna have to go from the front.
At the moment, FaZe are probably thinking about kills. We have 1 minute 10 to push. Can we get enough kills? Make sure we get this defense. Already a player around the back, though. Keep an eye. It's Arcitys. It's Arcitys in a great position. Holds fire. Holds fire against Nero. Looking for Methodz in the head. Sees one. Sees Nero as well. Takes it down, and that's the door bust wide open. Atlanta FaZe now have an opportunity to get in here off the back of Arcitys. There's more kills coming in. Atlanta FaZe have punched straight through Boston Breach. And they are going to be left shell-shocked by that 1 ton. They were not expecting the Arcitys flank.
It's absolutely superb from Arcitys, but all of a sudden he's left on his own. Nero finds 2 in the middle, and Boston Breach say thank you very much. We'll have it back. FaZe do get the pressure. I have no idea, but Arcitys, an inspired player. Nero's going off it inside a boat, though. Nelly finds the kill at the Cellium, but in the end, FaZe will find more kills themselves. 9 lives remaining for Boston Breach. 40 seconds on the timer as well. There's potential that could come into it. These next few kills are crucial, though. aBeZy and Simp combining well in the middle of the map. It's 1 more push. It's 1 more take over towards B is all they need.
Oh, that's a big 2-piece for Methodz, though. 23 seconds left. Here comes Simp. Looking for that first kill. He's going to get taken down as well. It's going to be Arcitys. There's no hero play from him this time. I don't know if FaZe can get into a position to actually make anything of this. They have the life advantage on this round, but there's no time to enact it. They would have to just run at it. I think they slow it down. They play for the kills. They want the defense.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want. Nobody's won an attack so far, and well, may as well buy into that one, and we'll go again. Boston Breach will hold the round, but just about. I thought that play from Arcitys was going to make it happen. Smart plays from the 2-time world champion. My goodness me.
The patience. the absolute patience as well as taking a very difficult shot on Methodz. It's a little bit worrying because you know they're not going to die as quickly as you want them to if you miss a couple of bullets. And he had to just snap onto Nero. Almost made the hero play, almost ended this map right here. But we go once more into it. It's Boston to attack. Atlanta FaZe have got the defense and on board with Capsidal up top.
Can they hold it down here, FaZe? You would expect so. Oh, can Cap and the gang produce something and find themselves in the lead in this series? That'll be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? Cap pushing forward. Can he find these shots into aBeZy? Had to check his corners. Couldn't quite get there, but a lot of progress being made over towards A. Boston trying to put a dent in things already. Nero has really stepped it up. Had a terrible start. Since that first round, he's been influential for the Boston Breach to find themselves this far.
And you see Boston Breach just getting A pretty cleanly here as well now, and they're trying to make a move. aBeZy will shut down that push, and here comes B. Now, both teams have failed to get this so far.
They didn't.
Can Boston go one further? Can they make the magic happen that hasn't happened in this control? They're looking for it. Nero trying to get a kill here. We're going to see up top. I believe it's Capsidal now trying to make a move with his teammates. They haven't actually got A. I thought they were going to already have it.
They didn't get it. aBeZy's grenade found its way through, and then he found the kill. The other two players from Boston were already over towards B. They didn't get a hold of it. They may well do now, but just a little bit less time to concentrate on the one that is very difficult to get a hold of. But Nero, as said, has really stepped it up. Looking like A is eventually going to fall the way of Breach. 1 minute and 42 seconds remaining for FaZe to hold on. The lives just about in Breach's favor, but it is very minute.
Well, let's see. Have Boston got a plan? Is there something they can do here to push back FaZe? This is for the map. Simp already, though, causing issues. You see Rail as well. Arcitys is going to be up top. What is the plan here from Boston? TJ looking. They want to kills. They need a gap. They need a chance and an opportunity to get through here. aBeZy, though, watching. He's going to see two players as well. That's one. TJ goes down. Cellium trying to fly in. He's going to take down TJ, but he's going to be traded as well. Look at this. There are players now from Boston Breach who've managed to make their way around the back. Can they continue to make the next wave of kills?
Well, they would have expected aBeZy, who's lingering towards the backside, keeps his team spawns there. But nonetheless, the Boston Breach have a lot of real estate that Methodz is happy to give up in this scenario. They're going to wrap this back around towards the front by the looks of things. TJ needs to find this kill top gun. Cellium towards the back, but aBeZy inside catches them.
This is what is so difficult.
And that's so big.
So difficult for Boston. You spawn far out. You have to keep making successive waves of kills. And then you have to fight your way back up the map. And at the moment, they're trying to do it, but keep an eye on that mini-map as well. We can see here, Simp is hitting a flank. He's looking for the players. He's on the tail of TJ. TJ's coming back as well. He will catch Simp napping. Cellium is on the point, but he's going to go down as well. Boston are trying to make a move here. aBeZy's going to try and slow them down. Arcitys is here. TJ finally jumps on the point with 13.5 seconds left. If Boston can make some kills, if Boston can do something here, they might have a chance. TJ just hiding down the tank. Cellium eventually takes him down, though, and that may be all she wrote, Ton.
Oh, the kills finally come through. Cap all on his own. Nero, not quite that quick. Atlanta FaZe surely will take the control. It wasn't easy, especially in that final round, but my goodness, they clutched up when they needed to.
Stress.
Big game. Very big map out of Atlanta FaZe, and yes, stress, no doubt.
That was all stress. It seemed slow. It seemed calm for the majority of the first ones there. But obviously, Atlanta FaZe move ahead in this best of 5. 2-1 up now against Boston Breach. But honestly, there were some incredible plays coming out there. Nero regained massively. Cap obviously always going to be a force on the map. We've got to talk about that Arcitys play. I thought he had it. I thought that was locked up for FaZe then and there. Cellium, of course, just being Cellium. 30 and 19. Ridiculous.
Yeah, the guy is on a bit of a tear at the moment. I don't feel like we even watch too much of him. He's just constantly putting up the numbers. And it's not like the kill feed is ever just constantly lighting up Cellium. It's just consistent putting up the numbers. Really well played from the side of Atlanta FaZe. They will get it done just 3-2, but it's no small feat to win an attacking round on control. They couldn't quite manage it, but now they could Boston Breach, and the slaying ability is what gets them that round number 5 over on the defensive side, and just well held in the end. A little bit scary, but only a little bit, as Boston could not quite find their way through. And mountain to climb now, potentially, Brycey. Post-hardpoint coming up after this, and the Post-snd. If Boston can force it, could go either way, but forcing it is the issue.
Yeah, We'll have to see, though, obviously. It's a daunting prospect for the Boston Breach after what's been happening in that first respawn hardpoint. I don't know. I don't know how they're feeling about coming into it. Realistically, if they could have got this and made it to a map number 5, you'd be feeling way more confident about Boston.
You would. I mean, look, we said that the control can sometimes be the moment where teams can maybe turn things around. But yeah, this was lovely from Arcitys. It's just a shame for FaZe and FaZe fans that it didn't result in what would be a 3-1 win, and that's a much more convincing scoreline when it does come down to control. But nonetheless, Boston did fight back. They held on to that defense, and then all of a sudden we have a round 5, but FaZe just with that advantage made it count. Very well played from the Atlanta FaZe side. They'll be happy to head into what is going to be a Bacage hardpoint for themselves, and how good they looked on that over the past week or so. It's going to be a very, very tall order here for the Boston Breach.
Yeah, this map 4 is the one that everyone was talking about. They felt like it all went to Atlanta. The Boston Breach have it in them to prove us wrong here. I don't know. It's difficult considering they've already won 2 of the respawns at Atlanta FaZe. Boston Breach would have to show us some real magic. Some real magic here on map number 4. Probably looking at Cap. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Cap has really slow starts and then just explodes.
Yeah, it can be that way, and obviously when it comes down to Bacage, a lot of people think of the SMGs, but what we seen from FaZe last week with the ARs really being the dominant force, and it kind of changed up the way a lot of the teams probably look at Bacage. And it's interesting. I mean, look, they've got strengths across the board when you think of this map. As said, you would think it's more SMG orientated, but then when FaZe switch it up, make it a little bit more AR dominant, they're not too bad at that either, let's be honest. So honestly, for the side of the Boston Breach, I mean, look, their faces kind of say it all for me. It's a very, very difficult task for any team in the league to do something on this map up against FaZe, and you need to see some big performances if they want to see a map number 5.
They certainly are, of course. As we go into the hard point, it's probably a good idea to look at some of the statistics of the big performers from both of these teams. Both Atlanta and Boston have got some serious firepower in the tank. Capsidal versus Cellium, and there's not an awful lot of difference between them, Ton.
There isn't. Cell very much towards the top of things, as is Cap. And how many times have we seen Cap really being the catalyst for his team, whereas Cellium has just been lights out so far. In the online games especially, he's been ridiculous. So if he can keep this up, it's going to be very difficult for Capsidal and the boys to get something going. But how often have we talked about FaZe's Bacage? It's just going to be such a hard task. All the Boston Breach to come back here, but can Capsidal be the one to put them to the sword and maybe get the Boston Breach going here as we go into the cage, as we like to call it sometimes? It is very much a bloody fist fight.
It is. It's chaos. This game. It's chaos in the cage.
And I mean, look, if one team revels in that chaos, it is Atlanta FaZe. But can Capsidal and Co. maybe calm it down, maybe do something different to try and upset the flow of what would be very much a comfortable FaZe win?
Well, let's see. This is, of course, our Game Fuel Marquee matchup. Boston and FaZe about to go head-to-head as we jump straight on board with Capsidal. Sometimes a slow start. Let's see if it is this time. Straight up against Simp as well. Firing in the corner. Gets that first kill.
I'm just really, really interested to see if the ARs on the side of Boston Breach can do something up against this AR duo. I mean, you don't need ARs when you're MP40 shoots like that, though, right? Capsidal find the shots. TJ and Co keep a hold of those spawns over towards P2. That's where the money is made when it comes down to the points for this map specifically. Boston be happy to have a hold of that and just keep FaZe off as long as they can. 3 kills do come through for the side of Atlanta FaZe. Want to slip the net in aBeZy too. They need to get rid of him, but still spawns there for the Boston Breach.
It's all about this rotation. And we'll see Arcitys on it again. I think he's just seen his teammate go down. He's looking to trade this one as well. Going to find Capsidal eventually, and they are trying to get this rotation. Unfortunately, Boston still have it. And you can see aBeZy is trying to do some magic. Not going to be able to without any teammates there, unfortunately. And it will now be Boston Breach. First one into this P2. Going to be a hard breach here for Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, I like the positioning from Cap, though. Don't mind that at all, but is it going to still result in the spawns for your team towards the back? Yes, it is. TJ getting aggressive inside the barn. Can't mind the second, not Arcitys. And now the problem is, if you do lose control of this barn, You're in a bit of a sticky spot to try and push out of your spawns, but very well held, very, very well traded as well from the Atlanta FaZe. The kills come in from them, even from the front. Well played from them. They're now going to force control. There's 30 seconds remaining, and that's going to be a nice, healthy lead heading over towards P3.
Well, you can see now, again, it's Arcitys. He's trying to get that early rotation coming through. It looks like Boston aren't even going to give them this scrap time either. Said no, thank you. And then FaZe now here, though, in a good position. It will be Capsidal who tries to wrest some sort of control. All players' life. Been very, very good at this so far. It seems like Boston Bridge's tactics seem to be setting free.
TJ just trying to cause some chaos. Good shots from Simp. Looking towards the back, though. Where's it being held down? Yeah, it is going to be the Atlanta FaZe locking this one in. Arcitys, aBeZy, and Cellium all combining well. Get aggressive, trying to spread their wings. Keep an eye on TJ, though. Round the back. There you go. There's the kill to kick things off. FaZe still spawning there. Can TJ just continue this fight? No, he cannot. FaZe locking it down from the front as well. Methodz is the only one left to really do much about this. FaZe still inside the point, still racking up the time, but eventually Boston Bridge seem to force their way in.
They have managed to get through this as well. They are just trying to play this correctly. Methodz looking for that player towards the back. He's knows coming. Doesn't get anybody in the end. And then all of a sudden, gunfire erupts around him at every point. Capsidal, currently 11-7, is really leading this team. And that's pretty much because he's just playing this floating Slayer role, just being allowed to slay out around the map. And it is putting Atlanta FaZe on the back foot in some places.
It is, but ultimately they still come out as the winners of this hill, but just about in the end, I would say. Very, very close, if not just even. Boston Bridge, so happy with that, all things considered. Rotation didn't go in their favor. They get a hold of the next hill as well. Nero will find two in the mid-map. Isn't quite able to make a count. And look at these spawns coming in from FaZe. They wrap all the way around. Can they find their way in? aBeZy. There's plenty of members around and they're inside the point, and Boston Bridge have been forced away.
Well, it's time to get rowdy in the barn. We all know this is a difficult one for either team to hold. Eventually, aBeZy gets one. Nero gets back with another answer, though. It's now going to be Cellium in there. Arcitys gets two on the outside. Methodz trying to do a little bit of work, but Arcitys has the gunny. Just shreds everyone with the auto. And Atlanta FaZe now starting to get that lead up tick by tick. This rotation, though, it could be massive for either team. Boston Bridge, if they can get there and hold it early, might have a chance to come screaming back into this one. If Atlanta FaZe somehow get the bounce, which they might do, Simp is at the back. Keep an eye. This is a pinch going through if they can win these gunfights.
Simp's just going to play his life towards the back. They get Granny's control, and here comes the push. Cellium and Simp combining well. Need a little bit of cover from up top, though. Outside of Granny, Cellium still finds that gunfight. The final trade comes through. It's going to be aBeZy. Every time it just feels like Atlanta had the last guy. Look at the spawns coming in from Breach, though. If your Arcitys here step just that little bit too far, they're not going to be able to clean them out. And there you go. Boston Breach get a hold of the spawns towards the back. That is not in the plan for Atlanta FaZe, unless they can find the kills on the way out. They cannot, and that is a misstep by FaZe.
Yeah, that spawn came in there for Boston Breach, and they took full advantage of it. Now, Methodz just trying to get down. Nero as well, getting a few kills back onto the board here. I think Atlanta FaZe have given this one up for Ghost. They know it's now about the next rotations and getting that spawn as well. But Nero is just on the hunt, looking for Simp as well, continuing to run through. Finds Cellium. Says thank you very much. You can spawn the other side of the map, by the way. We'll take this one.
And that's no problem. Breach are set up now for P2, of course, if they don't get flipped in the next 50, as we do head over towards P1 for the second rotation. I think Breach, all things considered, still in this game. It's a healthy scoreline, not too far away for because, yes, it is quite a distance, but get one good break, or one good hold, like this, and all of a sudden, you're well and truly back into the game. Can they continue to hold them off here on P1? Simp finds a shot, and he's the only one who can. Boston Breach dominating Killfield momentarily.
Gotta say, it feels like Boston are heating up. Nero gets 4 in the kill feed, and they really are now starting to put the hurt on Atlanta FaZe. Look at this, getting them out of spawn. They are miles away here from anything from P2. They've got a ton of time on the P1, and Boston have brought this series back to a tied game.
P1 at Bacage is a money hill, apparently. I mean, my goodness, I'm not really seeing this in most of the games are boxed, to be honest with you, but all of a sudden, FaZe find a few kills, they flip it around, and they get it locked in for what is supposed to be the money hill here on Bacage. P2 on lock. Methodz a kill. Have to be slow and methodical here. If they keep going one by one, it slams to the slaughter. Methodz looking for the shots. We'll find aBeZy. Look at this route, though, from TJ all the way around behind. Is that going to break things open? Not quite. FaZe just swoop in from the other side. Simp finds 2, can't find the 3rd. Nero really waking up in this game, 21-16. It's only 20 points or so for the Boston Breach, but it's still hit after hit after hit over towards P2, and once again, Boston Breach in control.
Well, I'll tell you something I did say. It felt like Boston were heating up, and Nero is definitely one of those players. FaZe do not get this all their own way at all. They are being pushed back every single step. With 25 seconds left to go on this one, you've got to say it's probably Boston's.
Lead.
Yeah, Atlanta FaZe are certainly having some struggles.
That P1, the P2 has looked very, very nice here. For the Boston Breach in this second rotation, if Simp and Co don't want to give up the final 10 seconds, they may just be giving up more lives, though, as aBeZy pushes through. Cap's the last one to find the kill. The final 5 seconds will go over towards the Boston Breach. The rotations, though, are going to be important. FaZe have to step it up here. Fight towards the back are going to be super important as Granny's control comes in from Atlanta FaZe.
Oh, both these teams fighting tooth and nail for it now. You can see at the moment FaZe do have control, but there are Boston players everywhere. Capsidal takes down Cellium, Arcitys takes down Nero. It's all kicking off as Simp tries to get that last one here, but Methodz dives in, uses the pistol, but aBeZy's here again. It is chaos now in this hard point as the spawns are close, and neither team comfortable, neither team really got a good setup for it. And it just goes a bit quiet as both teams kind of take a breath.
Everybody's just trying to find the kills, find the positions to try and lock in the kills as best as they can. Capsidal and TJ combining. Spawns towards the back. Do come in for Boston Breach, but it's too little too late for this point. There you go from Cap. Well played from him. Looks like streaks were available there. Rotation over, though, towards the barn. It's going to be a slight lead for the Atlanta FaZe, I should say. About 20 points. Look at the shots from Methodz, though. Can't find the second. The rest of the team not there to help out either. Cap the closest. Here come the rest of the Boston Breach now as we head over towards the barn. They're going to find that initial break. Can they lock it in?
Every time I think Atlanta FaZe may have a handle onto this game, Boston stop them. Boston come flying back into it again, and now they have control. Atlanta FaZe trying to get a stack here. You see already, I think it's aBeZy trying to make a bit of a play by P2, and he has done. Arcitys coming through as well, but he's taken down. Capsidal again, locking down mid-map. He's been such a problem here for Atlanta FaZe. And now it looks like they may even go into the lead here. Actually, it's taking off the time.
Streaks coming in from Cap, just trying to lock down some spawns potentially for his squad, and he just sticks it on Nero's head instead. Could that be the difference? FaZe are now going to have a free 20 points or so. The rotation comes in from them as well. Oh, it's a disastrous 10 or 15 seconds for the side of Boston Breach. Good shots from Nero, though. Can he be the thorn in the side here? Can he be the one to make something happen towards the back? Simp will find him. And all of a sudden, we head over towards River. What is that from Simp? My goodness me.
Oh, it's a bloodbath. It is a bloodbath. Both teams really going for it. And speaking of which, Methodz opens this back up for them. I said every single time you feel like Atlanta FaZe, they get a few kills, they might have an opportunity. Boston comes screaming back into it.
Oh, Cap didn't see him jump down. He was in a good position, but the rest of the team have fallen. Honestly, thought Nero was in a good spot to make something happen there. Finds one kill, gets traded out. FaZe 15 points in the lead here, 30 seconds remaining. Over towards P4. Push is going to come in from Granny's side here from Boston Breach. They need to make this work.
At the moment, Simp, although they know he's here, though, somehow managed to get out of it. And Atlanta FaZe are now within striking distance of this win. They're looking for it. Simp's going to be in trouble. The no movement's going to save you there under the gun. Arcity's now making a move himself. This is close. Either way, it could go in the very final dying moments of this game here. But Atlanta FaZe do get a wipe. And now we go on to P1. Boston Breach made a big number of points on this last rotation. Can Atlanta FaZe do it and end the game?
That kill feed is very, very wide at the moment, though. Boston Breach haven't found a kill in quite some time. It is a combined 11 spree from the Atlanta FaZe.
Here come Boston.
Breach they need to break back very, very quickly. TJ finds one. The trades are going to be enough for FaZe, though. They should be able to lock this one in, Bryce.
Yeah, it looks like FaZe have managed to just find form on this P1, and Boston Breach are running, they're sprinting. It's not going to be quick enough. They aren't going to be able to get it, and Boston Breach held it tight for the majority of that game. The last two hills, though, Boston couldn't get a look in. They were not able to come back into it, and that must be gutting for them. They felt like they were within touching distance of Atlanta FaZe the entire game ton. And I've got to say, a big part of that was Capsidal. I feel like, you know, Cap and Nero. I think, realistically, Cap just playing that Slayer role really threw Atlanta FaZe off for a good portion of that match.
look, Capsidal had a great game, but that moment where he kills Nero with the glide bomb, if that's maybe somebody else to get a hold of those spawns, to get a hold of those final moments on that hill, it suddenly doesn't need to be as desperate for the rest of the game. But look, Capsidal he had a fantastic game, but aBeZy was 40. What a huge game out of him. And the Atlanta FaZe, we always said it was going to be difficult for the Bridge heading into this one. Control is where they needed it, as well as the S&Ds to potentially find a game. But FaZe on Bakaj, different beast.
Yeah, I got to say, I honestly feel like that scoreline, 250 to 188, doesn't sum up that game at all. Doesn't feel like that game should be described like that in the slightest. I feel like Boston Breach were neck and neck with them for the majority of it. They were doing very, very well at the breaks, getting those trades going down as well. But Atlanta FaZe, those last couple of hills, they just hit Diffy.
Yeah, it was a rotation over towards P3. They kind of just locked it in, and Boston, they weren't necessarily one by one. They were trying to find the picks, trying to find the routes through. Just couldn't get in. It's such a difficult one. Then, of course, you head over towards P4, makes things a little bit more difficult. Just a very, very tough end. And where they picked up the majority of their time, remember, the Breach was on P1 on that second rotation. They didn't get a chance to even find a sniff of a kill to lock in that once more when it came around. Third time of asking. FaZe find the kills in the middle. Cellium and aBeZy ending on a casual 6 spree each to close out the game 250 to 188.
Yeah, it's almost like they felt it. It's like, oh, maybe we're a little bit too close on this one. Maybe we're going to have a bit of an issue. I said, no, hold on a minute. We're ending this here. We're not going to the S&D. We don't want to risk it. We know, obviously, the Breach are very, very good at it. Let's just take them down now and then move on.
Yep, very well played from FaZe, and I think a lot of people would have had this 3-0, 3-1. The Search and Destroy comes in from the Breach. It's something that we did expect, absolutely. But yeah, I think for the Boston Breach in this scenario, you go up against one of the teams like FaZe, one of the best teams in the game. A lot of people will have them on their lips for one of the majors, alongside Seattle, of course. I'm really interested to see actually FaZe go up against teams like London themselves as well to get a good idea on that respect. But for Breach, that's not too bad of a performance. You suddenly flip one of those control rounds and you're heading in now to a map number 5 potentially. You knew the hard points were going to be difficult. You knew Search and Destroy was what you had to take, as well as control potentially. Couldn't quite do it on the control 3-2 there, and that's what could potentially change the series completely.
No, it certainly could. It certainly could. And well, this has been our first set cast for the CDL ton. And so it's been a lot of fun. It has been an absolute ton of fun. I had a great plan, by the way. I thought if today went badly, what I'll do is I'll just tweet out about my ping after it, and then everything should be okay. But we'll kind of find out. Anyway, let's throw it back to our wonderful desk to see what they made of the game.
By the way, you guys are fantastic. By the way, and congrats on your great first day in the CDL this year. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
But this series was crazy. Matter of fact, I think that we were robbed as a society. I wanted a map 5 so bad.
I thought we were gonna get it.
Right.
I thought we were going to get it.
It felt like we were going to get that map 5 there, but you saw at the very end, like FaZe, they just take control, man. And there were multiple different hills where Breach did have control, where it looked like they were going to run away with the points. But FaZe, it's a long game versus them. They're going to bleed you out. And you saw like Capsidal, different players on Breach making plays mid-map, but it just takes too long. FaZe is in there for the contest, and in the end, they will get control. So, great effort by Breach, but FaZe, they keep on rolling.
They took over the last 2 hills right there to just cement that
like
victory.
2 team wipes, yeah.
Exactly. aLLeY, what do you love from FaZe so far? I mean, yeah, they were pushing backs against the wall a little bit against Boston. We thought Boston were going to win. We're not too off with our prediction, but still, FaZe are looking just great. They're looking even better now.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a testament to the fact that FaZe isn't as good as they were last year. I think it's a testament to the teams over on the CL this year. Just happened to be that high level of competition. FaZe are just as good as they were last year. They're looking to be better, and whenever we talk to them, they continue to say that. We're continuing to get better as a team. Their comms are always on point whenever we do a listen with them, and they always show their dominance. Once they get a full wipe on a team, the momentum for this team, it's like a switch. It's just all of a sudden the kill feed's lighting up white, and FaZe is just dominating. You saw it in those last 2 hills. They just need one good wipe, and then it's basically game over.
They go into like win mode, and it's unstoppable at that point. But you know what? We have a Game Fuel Victory Spotlight interview with none other than the OG himself, Arcitys. Let's get my man's on the screen. Arcitys, big smile coming from you, man. First off, how are you feeling? And second, when it came to this specific matchup, going against Boston Breach, what did you guys really want to capitalize on when it came to your own strategy and play style?
I mean, we don't care what people say. We're going to keep playing Gravity even if we suck at it. Like, even if we have problems with the third AR, like, we're going to keep playing against team, like, not just that team, probably like every team, just because we're that confident and we believe in our coaches. Like they tell us that we're going to do this and we're going to do it. We just need like the tiny tears. Like they played very well that series, and I think the first three series, including kickoff, we kind of were like they're kind of like not there all the way, but like they're getting back into it. Like Tyler's frying, Chris is frying. Like it's got to have those boys back because I'm taking a back seat now.
Well, you know, and that's scary because you guys are still winning, and you say that they're not even at top form yet. So I think going forward, that is incredible for this roster, especially you. You've honestly been lighting up from the series that we've seen. You've kind of put them on your back a little bit, especially in Gavutu, man. It looked like you were having an absolute frenzy. You got to tell me about that trigger discipline in B-bomb where you literally saw him standing on tank, and you were like, hold on. I'm going to get this two-piece.
See, that's why I got picked up on this team. Then he's gonna throw it away. I'm like, yo, I was like, yo, Tyler, go push. And Tyler's like, no, let's stack it. I said, okay. So all the trigger discipline got thrown away because these guys want to be morons. But live and you learn. So I did. I said, you guys are stupid. I said, all that work for nothing. But other than that, like, we're still learning. We're still working. We're looking good. Like the S&D, we had some hiccups, but other than that, like, control, and the hard points were kind of dominating.
Yeah. Absolutely. Arcitys, first, congrats on the win. I want to ask you about the competition this game. Does it feel like it's a lot more competitive this year as opposed to last, or do you think it's just you guys still just trying to figure things out and improve?
I mean, you see the hard points getting better. You see the controls getting better. We weren't even close to winning control round in the first two games, so we kind of like we're on our high horse after champs, and we kind of showed it, and we did it last year when we made this team too. So we're just gonna keep getting better. But I'm not taking any credit or I'm not discrediting any other team. They're nasty. Like every other team's really good. It's gonna be a great year of competitive COD.
Absolutely.
All right, Arcitys, man, you already know the deal. I'm gonna leave this to you right now to thank all the fans that's been supporting you guys all year long, and give them a reason why they should look forward to seeing Atlanta FaZe heading up to the first major, man.
I mean, they saw last year, so hopefully we keep it that. And I got one word: free Neptune.
Oh,
hey. There you go. Hey, Arcitys, man, it's been a blast. Hope you have a good one. All right.
Hey, thank you.
All right, and by the way, we're talking about the Esports Awards Team of the Year, by the way. This team, they know exactly what they're made of. And let's take a look at the game field tactical play, actually. Nameless, break this down for us. RC just showed why he's such a great veteran.
Yeah, it was a beautiful play. I mean, most of the time when teams get a break-in over at B, it's because the player gets through to the spawn, either spawn traps or he makes a play like this. And for Arcitys, you could tell he was scrambling his mind like, what do I want to do here? I want to take the shot? No, I'm going to wait. And he goes over here, he picks Methodz off of the tank, and he turns to his left, wins a big gunfight here onto Nero as well, and then that opens up the lane for them. Unfortunately, it doesn't really go their way because it goes to the very next round, but they had a big opportunity here, and then Capsidal comes in, he makes a big play, kills one of them off the point. But he gave them a massive opportunity, and that's what you need out of your AR players when they get up and through around the back, a big play like that.
Can you imagine? He even had trigger discipline after he saw the second guy, and that's why I'm here and he's there, because I would have just shot and just got jacked up. But ladies and gentlemen, we have one more series to close out the day, and it's gonna be a good one. We got the Los Angeles Thieves taking on the Florida Mutineers now. Los Angeles Thieves, they were looking so hot lately, but the Florida Mutineers, they're looking to make a statement by beating one of the better teams in the CDL. So make sure you don't go anywhere for too long at least, and we'll see you guys on the other side of this break.
Yeet.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Zenny Gaming. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL.
For the rugged. Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price on y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. 8-6 all the hay. I won't get involved today. Got lost in the ball and eggs. I'm flipping the bars. I'm flipping the.
Obtain.
That's what we wanted. That's what I'm talking about. He don't miss. All record, off record deals. Tell him talk to Colin for the quote. All record, off record eyes. Still want to act, not the ghost. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. We have our last game of the day, and it's going to be a good one. Florida Mutineers are going to take on the Los Angeles Thieves. You see behind us, me, I'm the desk host, Velly, break things down with aLLeY and also Nameless. And aLLeY, this, I hope is going to be a good one. I really want Florida to pick up.
I hope it's going to be a good one, but the issue is Florida, all players have to be firing on all cylinders for the series to be super competitive. I feel like we didn't see a lot out of Vivid and Skies last weekend, and now going against a team that looks as hot as LA Thieves, they're going to have their work cut out for them.
And speaking about the LA Thieves, led by none other than the Blasian Wonder himself, Kenny, this team is looking so good, Nameless, and they're looking to make a statement in this league by racking up a few more wins.
Absolutely. These guys have been looking pretty good as of late. Obviously, they had a really good kickoff, and then, you know, so far in the Pro League, it's been a little up and down, but in their last match versus New York, they ended up getting that W, although some of the maps are a little bit too close for comfort, Velly.
Yeah, big time. Now, when it comes to the game field keys to victory, aLLeY, what did the LA Thieves got to do to pull this out?
Well, they got to continue their hardpoint dominance. That's going to be on the likes of Kenny and Drazah. They're 8-2 overall. And of course, take advantage of poor Florida defense and search and destroy. They're 10th in defensive round win percentages, and then get early captures and control. They're 9th in average time remaining after first capture, so that means they need to work on getting on that point a little bit faster, maybe play a little bit more aggressive. But again, what we've seen from LA Thieves has been absolute dominance across the board. These are all just really little things that they can tighten up and going against a team like Florida Mutineers.
Oh, look at him vibing out, Envoy with the smile on. I can't wait to see what this team is going to do, but I want to see if those smiles continue when they face off against Florida Mutineers. Now, when we talk about this team, I mean, the players are great, but so far they haven't been doing so well this year. If you take a look at what they've been doing so far, aLLeY, you and I, we did challengers. We know the likes of Awakening and a lot of other players on this roster. We both expect great things from them because they're great.
Well, and you know what? I think the rookies on this roster have been doing great. I think aBeZy has been doing fantastic. Even though he had a little bit of a slower series from what we saw, I believe he was still positive overall, throwing into his role as a main AR over these veteran players. Big Wake, he's obviously been slaying out the competition this time around. So now it's looking at Vivid and Skies to really step it up. We saw what Skies was capable of doing at Kickoff Classic, and we just need to see that from him again.
Yes, and when it comes to the game fuel keys to victory, what do we have?
Yeah, you need consistency out of Vivid. You can see right here, map 1 versus map 3, the disparity in his gameplay. Aside from that, he is #1 overall in terms of hardpoint damage per map in the league through their 2 matches. You know, small sample size, but that's what you need out of Vivid is just pure aggression. Sometimes he's going to have that bad game. But focus on strong hardpoint setup, 2nd in rotation win percentage, 10th in holds. So got to get that first blood. We've been preaching about some of these teams that rotate. They're not able to hold it and set up. So got to focus on setting up there. That comes with teamwork and communication. And that's where I think the Florida Mutineers lack a lot is their communication and their teamwork. It's very individual when you watch this team. It was the same way last year, and it's starting to bleed into this year. And then get the bomb down and search and destroy. They're winning 90% of the rounds where they plant the bomb. Got to be a priority when you have a guy like Awakening who's been playing good, and then Skies with a 1.45 in S&D. They're 0-2 in that game mode, though. So go ahead and get that bomb down and win the round.